Great freaking Monday evening to you all on this majestic 14th day of February 2022 in the year of our Lord, the source of all things beautiful and great. It's a great day, man. It's freaking cold as heck out here in Jersey City. We're out to my sister's area. Get a nice little, cut. Get a little cleaned up. Train the youth. And roll my happy ass back on my bike in the nice coat. Damn. R.I.P. Young Buck. R.I.P. I keep catching myself saying that dang phrase, just like the young kid that, made it famous, turned himself into a meme, passed on, I think like last year, something like that. But I forgot. I wanted to see if I could put the topic of the talk before I even started it, but I forgot. I spaced that out. But like I said, as I made the post, today I wanted to talk about, cultivation of discipline. Yesterday I was talking to a young individual from Canada, and we touched upon the topic of discipline shortly. And, we're so caught up in the conversation that I didn't even bother to expand on it, right? So I was like, you know what? I should talk about it tomorrow. And that was kind of what I wrote in my journal last night before I took it down. Right, so I wanted to talk, and we also talked about smoking. He lit up a blunt as I started to talk, to be exact. He was rolling one up, right? And I haven't smoked any MaryJane in over a year, right? Over 370 something days. Excuse me, I'm putting down some honey. It ain't vegan. So I want to touch upon that after I touch upon discipline. And lastly, I want to talk about should we be making women wait rather than getting so lost in the desire to get it done. We evaluate them. We determine if they worthy of our time and attention and focus, because that's all they want, our time, attention, and focus. And if they ain't worthy, we could cut them off easily, right? If they don't meet our standards. So at the end of the day, we're the ones that are over here working on ourselves. We don't care about what they bring. To be honest, financial doesn't matter to us, because as men, that's theirs. Society has conditioned, and as you normally is, what is ours is theirs, and what is theirs is theirs. So those are kind of some of the things that I want to address today. Last night, as I put myself to bed, I've been getting into the habit of taking my journal into the bedroom with me and putting it under the pillow. So whenever I have one of those, those late night thoughts where you got something in the back of your mind, and you feel like it's important, you think it's important, and you would want to write it down, and then you're like, I'll remember it tomorrow, but you don't remember it. You don't fucking remember it till a week later. So I've been taking my notebook, and last night I had this thought, society, the way that it generates, it has, become today, over the last few centuries, is that, we are busy doing what we want to do. Right? We're so busy in this society. We're so busy doing what we want to do, what we feel is right. And very few, take the time to do what God needs of them. What life, right? What existence, what this time in the now requires of them. Too often we're busy doing a whole bunch of nothing. And then, many reach that end point in their life. They contemplate suicide. They contemplate, their life. They regret because more likely than not, they lived an unpurposed life, right? They had no purpose or direction. They let other people use them for their purposes. And so they were directed by somebody else. It's like it's like a lot of people in our society, the 99%, the 95%, spend the entirety of their life living as extras in somebody else's movie. They never realize that they have their own movie to live, that they have their own role to play in their own life. So, that was my thought before as I laid there. I didn't even open my eyes to write this. I just kind of like grabbed a pen, hope that I clicked it to the ink that had ink, and just started writing. So it kind of like looks like this, right? Like that's what I wrote last night, right? As I'm laying down with my head on the pillow, I'm just like, and it was that, when we are too busy doing what we want to do, we don't have energy or time to do what God needs and wants us to do. What our internal compass is driving us to do. Because more often than not, what our internal compass is directing us to do is what is actually required of us in this life that we have been born into. Like we're just consciousness having a human experience, and the purpose of the experience through which consciousness is, or the human through which consciousness is having that experience through, the purpose of that individual is going to be based on the uniqueness of his upbringing, based on the environment and the time into which that individual is born into, and the traumas and the positive experience, both negative and positive, that individual endures throughout his upbringing, which allow that individual to cultivate, to become this authentic being with unique experiences and unique understanding of those experiences based on that individual's unique perception and comprehension of the things that happen to them. Like, nobody is useless in this life. But if we pay attention to, the mediums of communication, the news, the propaganda of entertainment, then we're going to think that the only people that matter are individuals that have apparent talents like playing sports or artistic, artistic talents. And then everybody else is just a nobody that's, relegated to live a life of in the shadows. And it's not like that. It is not so. It's just that those individuals probably came from the loins, the testicles and wombs of individuals that did the internal work. We just didn't see it because we weren't there, So each and every one of us, we have to rely on the things that have been proven to work through trial and errors, and the examples of all those that we see in our society, and that being what? Discipline. Discipline is the principal thing in all success. It is the foundation of all success. We need discipline. Without discipline, nothing great is ever achieved. You know what I'm saying? Repetition doesn't make perfect, it creates improvement. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no such thing as perfection, but there is such a thing as, extraordinary work achieved through consistent, refinement that produces an improved version of what before was but, a piece of rock turned into a marble or something. I don't freaking know, but y'all get the gist, right? So discipline is cultivated by one developing the capacity to use one's own willpower to the best of one's ability, rather than being a useless servant of one's will. One turns the will into his humble servant, right? One becomes master of one's will, and one induces oneself consistently to do the things that, even though one may not feel at the moment like doing, one understands that these are the things that need to get done in order for we to feel and have the ways that we want to feel and the things that we want to have, right? Discipline is just doing what you have to do, what you need to do, but what you may not feel like doing, but doing it in such a fashion that it looks like you're in love with the process. So you got to fall in love with the process of doing the things that you don't feel like doing, because you understand, the reward at the end of that process, right? Like, nobody really ever feels like working out, but you can do it so often, and you can become so consistent at it that often when you catch yourself in the process of doing it, other people are like, wow, I don't understand how he enjoys running 5 miles, running 10 miles, doing 100, 100 push-ups. Like, I don't get it. Why is he deadlifting 450 pounds? Like, isn't that heavy? No shit. That's the fucking point. You get what I'm saying? You have a vision. You have a vision of the result. You have a vision of the end result. And usually having a good vision of the end result for which you are cultivating that discipline is sometimes the only motivation that you're going to have. You got to learn to do the things that you don't like to do, but do them like you love them, as Mike Tyson, put it. Right? Like, today I did 900, right? Yesterday I did 1124. That's how many reps I did for my whole body, lower body, upper body, and mid body, right? Like legs, chest, back, and tries, and the core, which is the middle body and lower back. Today, I got 904. My goal is always to hit above 700 reps. Now, a lot of times you don't feel like doing it, but then you're like, what do I want to look at? What do I want my body to look at and feel like at 40, at 50? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's it. Repetition. Repetition is the mother of all, of all achievement. And repetition can only be achieved through consistent self-discipline. You know what I'm saying? Doing the little things right. You know what I'm saying? Doing the little things right is what creates is what makes all the other things that you do in life look like they are just natural. You know what I'm saying? It's just doing the little things right. I didn't begin to seek out discipline until before I went into the military at 18, 19, that I realized that I lacked discipline, that I didn't have discipline, and that I wasn't brought up in an environment that really, promoted discipline in a productive manner, right? The only discipline that I would get was an ass whooping, right? Called stupid and all these other ways, these what's the word? These corrective, these ways of correction that our society, practices that are not beneficial toward the proper cultivation of a good, of a good individual. They really, demoralize rather than encourage. So it was in the military that I learned to do, to a little bit more discipline. And it wasn't a positive, you're like, oh, let's go, you can do it. No, get on your face, motherfucker, and give me 20. You know what I'm saying? Let's go on your squat, sit up, right? But you learn by doing the things that you don't like to do to enjoy some of the process. Now I wake up in the morning and I make my bed before I even leave my room, right? Brushing your teeth, that's a form of discipline. You're practicing good, proper hygiene, right? Wiping your ass right, taking a shower, making sure that your environment is neat and in some kind of order. Even if you're not the most orderly individual, you can do a decent job if you try. You know what I'm saying? And that is just one way of practicing and cultivating discipline. Washing the dishes, you know what I'm saying? Not making sure that when you leave your room, your bedroom or your apartment, that it is in some kind of decent order. These are just simple ways, you know what I'm saying? One addition that I did this year to cultivate not just discipline but my skill set is that I told myself, I want to do lives every day this year as often as possible. If I miss a day, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I want to get into the habit of doing a live every evening. I already make videos from time to time throughout the day. I want to get into the habit of, I want to pick out a certain time and I want to stick to it, and I want to do it every day at that same time, every day. I want to become consistent with it for an entire year, and then after that year, we'll see about adding more things to it. And so, here we are. It's the 14th. It's the 14th day of February. I think we've probably missed like maybe 3 days this year thus far, right? And we're like 40 something days into the year. Another habit that I added was that, okay, my body is right, but what am I doing to make sure that the youth is getting something? And since I don't have any other people's children, I have my nieces and my nephews. So, okay, what can I do for them? Boom. I decided that I was going to pick out an hour, and I did this last year after I stopped smoking MaryJane. This is the beauty about when I stopped smoking MaryJane. My discipline skyrocketed and my clarity became, my awareness and my understanding of how to properly utilize my time, not just for my benefit, but for my family, for my community, and in the long term, right, for the other things that I want to generate in the future. I was like, I want to pick out an hour throughout the day that I want to do it 4 to 5 times a day, where I'm just giving back. I'm not charging. This is going to be, 1 to 2 hours per day, every day of the week, at least 5 times a week, right? So I figured from 4 to 5. So from 4 to 5, I'm always training my nieces and nephew. From 4 to 5, Monday through Thursday, I'm always training my nieces and nephew. If I'm not able to get to my sister's house and take them out on a run to the park, or do it inside because it's too cold, I'll turn on my tablet or get on my phone and turn on the Zoom call. And before that, I'll text my nephew. I'm like, yo, you ready? Boom, we go on Zoom. Been doing that now for almost a year. Stopped doing it for a few months, but that is how I, manage my time. Like, and it's gonna take time, right? Like I didn't know how it was gonna work, but that's one thing. Like, as I go back, when we are too busy doing what we want to do, what we think we need to do, being of service to man rather than being of service to God, we don't have time to do what God actually needs us to do. What consciousness, you know what I'm saying? What the divine intelligence of the universe actually needs us to do, because we're not in alignment with what that divine intelligence requires of us, because we are too busy doing nothing for somebody else. We're too busy being an extra in someone else's story to become a main actor in our own story and figure out, what is my role in this life of mine? What is my role, right? So, back in 2018 at 28, I graduated, right? I got my bachelor's in criminal justice, and I was considering going back into the Marine Corps as a military officer. Yeah, I appreciate that, raw boy. I was considering going back into the Marine Corps as a Marine Corps officer, and I had this one moment of clarity, and it was like, you already submitted yourself to the yoke of the government of man. How about you submit yourself to God? Why don't you just figure out what God wants you to do? We already know you can go into you have no problem going back into the military. I can see it. I went through the whole process. I had the whole folder, my tattoos, everything was like already set up. I did the exam, like everything. I did everything. All I had to do was wait my date. And I started thinking, like, that 2018, I started meditating a lot. I really started meditating a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting, and one day, and it was just like, why don't you just submit yourself to God? Like, see what life has in store for you when you begin to, like, walk with some faith. Right? Because if you go back into the Marine Corps, you're not going to be able to produce the videos that you're making now. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. And I started just like weighing the pros and cons of being in service to man as opposed to being in service to God. Right? And I was like, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go work with the big guy. You know what I'm saying? With the real big one. Right? So that's what I did, right? And the other day, on Saturday, carrying, that's another discipline that I developed into last year once I stopped smoking weed, was I started carrying a heavy ass pack every Saturday. Saturday is the 7th day, the Sabbath day, right? I didn't know what I was doing. And this Saturday, I ran into my little nephew. 3 miles into my walk, I run into my little nephew, and I took him on a mile. We walked for about a mile, and we was talking. Before that, one lady saw me. Like, I stopped to talk to one of my boys, and one of the ladies, an older lady, asked me, like, what was I carrying in my pack? And I told her, oh, it's some weight. And she asked me, why are you carrying that? And my answer was, I want to be ready when God calls for me to serve. And she was just like, say no more. and in the back of my mind, I started really like thinking about why I said that. And it's true, like, too often a lot of people, they want many things, but they're never preparing themselves to receive these things. And one thing that I was explaining to my nephew, when you do something, not just for your selfish benefit, but for the benefit of the whole, not only do you gain, but everybody else around you gains in the process of you achieving whatever it is that you set out to achieve. I'll repeat that. Whenever you do something in a selfless way, to gain for yourself, when you don't do it in a selfish way, in the process of you achieving your wants, your desires that are righteous and virtuous, in the process of you becoming rich emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, intellectually, when done properly, you enrich everybody else in your environment. When you do something for your benefit because you understand how it will benefit the whole, you are naturally functioning in a reciprocal manner, just as nature intended it. Like, I read somewhere that one bee visits visits about 1,000 flowers in his lifetime, which is about 40 days. And that in that lifetime of visiting flowers and creating honey, one bee will make about half a teaspoon of honey. And it does it for the hive. It does it for the benefit of the collective. We literally eat a whole teaspoon in one. So we're eating the life work of two earthlings, of two beings that roamed through this planet and did their work selflessly, without selfish, thoughts. Nature is naturally reciprocal. You plant a seed, it yields a tree, and in time, with the proper care, the proper environment, that tree yields fruit, which the other earthlings on this planet eat. I keep drifting off, but we get back to discipline. Discipline must be cultivated. It does not come natural. It is a habit that must be cultivated daily by making yourself do the things that you don't want to do, but which you know will benefit you. And doing them with a great attitude, with a gracious attitude, giving thanks in every moment that you have the capacity to do it. You have a body, you have a mind, you have a soul. Your body functions on electricity. Soul is spirit, spirit is energy. Your body functions on energy. You are matter, you are consciousness, you are energy, right? So, since you have a body, one of the best ways to cultivate discipline within that body is by making it do the things that are good for it, even if you don't feel like doing them. Doing them because you have to do them, because you should do them, because you must. Your want and your egos got nothing to do with it. Or your will and your ego has nothing to do. Your will and your ego must work for you. You may not feel like it, you may not want to do it, but you must make yourself do these things. You must also make yourself eat healthy if you want to be able to move through this vehicle for a very long time without dealing with, unnecessary pains, hardships too early on. That's the body, right? Physical activity and proper nutrition, as well as proper rest. There is a time for diligence and there's a time for rest. You have a mind. Your mind must be nurtured. You may not want to read, but it behoove you, be very wise of you to make yourself sit down for 15 to 30 minutes to start off and read anywhere between 5 to 10 pages daily. The more often, the better. The more consistent you are with it, the better. Discipline is something that is built consistently over time. It is a habit that you must cultivate. You must learn to silence your mind as well, making yourself sit in meditation. That's why meditation is key. Meditation is like a self-induced sleep, but where you're still awake, but you're not allowing your body to move. You're just breathing. The thoughts are going to do whatever they got to do, but you got to focus on your breathing. Right? You have your emotions. Your consciousness lives within an emotional body. And this emotional body must be disciplined. It must be well managed. You can't just allow your emotions to roam free. As a man, you have to have them under control. Somebody pisses you off, you can't just lose your shit on them. Your girlfriend leaves you, you can't just, oh my God. No. A death in the family, still, like, there's a moment for everything. And that's why building the physical strengthens the mind. Strengthening the mind strengthens the spirit and also the emotions. And by consistent self-discipline over time, you will develop the insight and foresight to see your vision and to now make yourself do those purposeful actions that will create the lifestyle that you want for yourself, because you have built the foundation. You have built the creative aspect. You have, cultivated the environment that would allow you to see the visions and the things that you are gifted at to be of value to society. Yeah, you told me yesterday you wanted to go live, Raw Boy, so, you went back out. As it relates to discipline, I don't know what else to say about it, right? Like I said, this has been something that I've cultivated over time, and a lot of people, there's a lot of things out there on discipline. Making your bed in the morning, primordial, is key. Physical fitness, intellectual development, silence and peace, being selective with the things that we listen to, the things that we watch, and the individuals that we allow into our environment is key. Hey, Raw Boy, if you back, man, we can go live, or I can just, go into talk about the next topic. You know what I'm saying? MaryJane, why I really stopped smoking MaryJane. You know what I'm saying? Ay. Yesterday yesterday we had the young buck from Canada, and I didn't get to talk about that. Go ahead. Do the request. I don't know how this thing works. I'm over here eating honey. Oh, you already sent the request?
Yo,
What's going on, brother, man?
what's good, bro? What's good, man? This is the top. This topic you're about to talk about. I want to talk about it too, to be honest.
What, weed?
Yeah, man. Man.
Yeah.
Like you're right about the whole discipline thing. Like, like with weed, like I don't know, something resonated with when you said that with your nieces and nephew. When you stop smoking, you put in the time to actually, train them and do the physical activities with them, And I resonate with that too, because I feel like my little bro, like, as much as I want to train him and everything, when I get, when I get a spliff, I just feel like, fuck, no, I'm not, like, I just do my own thing. I'll go train myself, I'll go meditate myself. I'll do all the self-work that I have to do. But to invite other people, I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm just like antisocial, you know what I mean? Like,
Nah, absolutely.
so yeah, go on with this topic, man. Like, why did you stop smoking?
Alright, so, like I was saying yesterday, man, I had one experience with weed. And, I stopped smoking weed for 5 years when I went into the military. When I came out, I quit all like cigarettes and stuff, but I picked up weed right again. And you know, from 2014 to now to last year 2021, that's 7 years. And that 7 years was getting on my fucking nerves. Like those 6 years was getting on my nerves. Like, and I would stop smoking only for fights. Like I stopped for my first fight. My coach kept telling me, Sosa, stop smoking. Sosa, stop smoking. I was like, I got this. I got this. I got this. I stopped smoking the week of the fight. I get in the ring. I got a fucking migraine. I can't fucking breathe properly. Like, I got anxiety kicking my ass. And I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke the week of the fight.
Yeah.
Long story short, I got the fight on YouTube. I ain't get fucked up, but I fucked myself up. Like, I blew my load. It's like you want to fuck a chick so bad and then, damn, I hope this thing doesn't get hot with that flag. But, you know, you want to get with a chick so bad and then next thing you know, you jizz before you even pull it out.
Yeah, I feel you.
That's how it was for me for my first fight. It was like, I went all 3 rounds, but I was so gassed. And I thought I won. And like, you know, but when I saw the fight high, I was like, no, dude. So like after that, I stopped smoking for about a month. I kept training. But then I would smoke only once every 2 weeks. So for my second fight, I smoked once every 2 weeks. That was the first time that I got a little discipline with MaryJane, right? That's why I started seeing a lot of the value, the spiritual, you know, the personal development value. But whenever I wasn't fighting, I was still abuse her. And every time you smoke, I don't know if you guys use this term, but we say like, yo, let's burn, right? Like I want to burn one, right? I want to burn one. Chill, I want to burn one. Like these are two very, very highly used terms between pot smokers. Burn some, let's chill. So I got it into my mind that every time that I was smoking, I was really not just burning like smoke, I was burning time.
Yeah.
Right? And yesterday, like I said, I spoke with the young buck from Canada, and
I saw that.
What impacted me the most,
Man, he was smoking hella smoke.
In 2020 was that one day, like I said, it was like the 3rd day in a row. It was like September 29th. It was like the 3rd day in a row. And I caught myself smoking a blunt it was the 3rd day in a row. And it had been all 2020. I kept telling myself, I got to stop smoking. I got to stop smoking. I got to stop smoking. I can do it. I can do it. But let me just smoke one more. And this night, it was raining. And I went and smoked a blunt. My brother went to work. I stayed outside smoking a blunt. And as I sat down under this tree, I'm like, damn, bro, I'm really out here smoking a blunt and it's raining. Like, what are you doing? And this guy, like, you know, kind of crazy guy, is walking up the middle of the street. And I'm like in the cut, like nobody sees me. But I hear him look back and yell, next time I see you, I'm going to kill you.
What the fuck?
In the back of my mind, I'm like, you fucking talking to me? So I kind of like stood up from where I was sitting at, and I'm like, this motherfucker talking to me. I look down, the dude disappears. I get so paranoid that I get up and I go like in between the houses, like in between like in the alleyway of where I lived at, and I'm just smoking there, and I'm like. And like I'm paranoid as fuck. I'm like, oh, what the fuck, bro? And I finished the blunt, and I got so paranoid that I had to go in the backyard. I took my shoes off, and I just grounded in the rain. Like I just stood there, and I literally stood there for 45 minutes with my eyes closed, just grounded, because I was shaking so fucking bad. From hearing, I felt like that was the universe. Like, you know, like I said. When we potheads burn, we're not just burning a blunt. We're burning time.
Facts. Yeah.
We're burning time, and the way that I see it is like I was burning time that I didn't even know I had. Like, right, like a lot of us, we rush through life. We try to rush ourselves into success, but we still lack the foundational qualities of the individual that we want to embody. So we can't even properly project that individual. And like, right, whenever I hear the death, like, oh, a pastor or this very amazing person died in this tragic way, I think in the back of my mind, okay, he was in the eye of everybody else, he was a very great person, but what was he doing in private that only he knew he was doing? What kind of karma was he creating? You get what I'm saying? So like, that was one of the reasons that I stopped. Like, that why right there was the fact, like, I'm burning time and I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. And like, you ain't supposed to be chilling all the fucking time. And you ain't supposed to be burning that much time because you really don't know how much time you got. Right? Like, we're given 70 to 80 years. If we live it healthy and, you know, and in alignment, we might live longer. If we're just eating a whole bunch of fucking meats and processed food, we might get 35 and 40 and shit. 50, they start cutting their legs off and shit.
Yeah, amputation.
The dude that bothered me, I talked to him in 2018 for the first time. I started, like, you know, going through my emotional works, and I was like, you know what? If I want to have a good emotional relationship with the son that I may create, I gotta like get this out of my way with this dude that bothered me. So I started talking to him, right? Like, I started, like, you know, just having a conversation. Don't call me son, bro, because you never son. You fathered me, but you ain't never been a father to me. You know? Like, I was very direct. I felt like a father in that fucking, and I still feel like I'm the father and shit. But I told him in 2018, it's like, he went to the hospital, and I told him, I was like, oh, is this and this, so you got to avoid it. He was like, nah. All 2020, they spent the whole year cutting his fucking right foot off.
Fuck.
Right? That could be me in 5 more years, because I'm 30. And I used to eat a lot of fucking meat. I used to eat a lot of meat.
Me too, bro. Asado and all that.
So I used to enjoy it. You know, and 3 meals a day, you know, every meal, pork, cow, chicken, like, eggs. So
yeah,
with weed, that was probably one of the last things, aside from, like, you know, the whole masturbation and all that other aspect. Even cutting out weed made that process even easier. Because, like, you know, the more disciplined you become in one aspect, the more that translates to other aspects of your life. And I think, like, within a week of stopping smoking weed, I you know, I had one of my boys that passed from an overdose. I had his son come over, you know, stayed over for like 2 days. I had him come over like 2 or 3 times, and I was kind of like life coaching him and doing, like, you know, Thai path, teaching him how to box, talking to him about hygiene and shit. And he slept right here in this futon that I'm sitting on right now, right? And then after that, I started allowing my little niece to come over. One of them, she's about to be 8 this year, but she's been the one that I feel like I've had the biggest impact on, because I've been around her since she was like 6 months old, since out of the military. And so I would have her in here. She'd be, you know, for a whole week just doing the online schooling and stuff. But had I still been smoking, I wouldn't have had that patience, because I would have felt like I would have felt like this fucking kid is a nuisance right now. I can't even smoke a blunt in peace.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would have been burning time in an unwise manner. And even that night, like the night that I stopped smoking weed, I had already been in my apartment for like 50-something days, living alone, and I caught myself just smoking this disgusting fucking, you know, Fanta leaf wrapped blunt that was like kind of wet.
Yeah.
I started gagging, and I'm looking out the window, and I'm like, and I started gagging, I'm like, and as I was going to put it down, my subconscious mind was like, no, motherfucker, you finish it. Like, you're gonna finish that blunt, and after that, we're fucking done.
Yeah. But
We're
how long ago was that?
That was February 3rd of last year.
That's a year. That's a year for you.
It was like we're fucking done for the next 5 to 10. Honestly, it was like we're fucking done for the next 5 to 10 years, or until you make your first million. You're not smoking another fucking blunt. And then it kind of changed. It kind of changed, right? Like, because I still want to compete. I still want to see if I can do some competition, like some fighting. And I've already established that ritual, right? I've already established a ritual that the days of my fight, I smoke. Like, I wake up first thing in the morning. I wake up at 6, 7 in the morning. I grab my journal. I make a cup of coffee. I don't really drink coffee anymore, right? And I was raised on a coffee farm, but I don't drink coffee anymore.
Are you still drinking that mocha?
Oh, every day, bro.
Yeah. Well, what's the ingredients of that? I tried making my own. I tried man, I just put like, I'll tell you my one. I'll try to imitate yours, but I put like this Ecuadorian cacao chocolate, melted it,
Okay.
and then I put dark chocolate, and then I put shiljak, star clover, the star clover, it's like cinnamon.
Yeah.
Cinnamon or star spice, I think it's called. And cinnamon.
I put cinnamon and canela, but
oh yeah.
So what I make it, the one that I fucks with heavy. It has 7 medicinal mushrooms. On Amazon, you could get a pack of like 14. When I first started making it, it was 14 mushrooms, but it has 7 mushrooms. The one that I'm using right now, I've mixed them all. Like, I bought them individually, then I mixed them in one bag. So now I just take 1 teaspoon of the 7 mushrooms. It has 3 ginseng, which is the maca, which is Peruvian ginseng. It's got ashwagandha, which is that's maca.
Yeah, maca.
So
Yeah.
maca is super good to balance the hormone and to boost that testosterone. And feel it, like it's fucking powerful. There was a point last year where I had to stop taking it because I was having too many fucking nocturnal fucking,
Yeah.
hell every fucking night, right? So I stopped, but then I realized also that it was the weed, right? The weed fucks with your dreams because you don't really dream when you smoke weed, right?
Blocks your hormones.
That you begin to like dream more often and more clearly, but you don't really dream and you don't really remember your dreams when you smoke a lot, right? Your days are always cloudy, but that's as I get back, like the only way I'll smoke is like the day of my fight, and I have a ritual. I got a journal. I got to drink my coffee. I got to smoke my weed, and then I'll meditate for about 2 to 3 hours. Because that's the beauty about weed. Like, if you go a long time without smoking weed, and you were to roll a blunt or hit a nice fucking get a really good bong hit, and go sit out in the sun or in your room in silence, you'll be able to meditate for a pretty long time, and the visualization and the amount of work that you can get done, like internal work, is incredible, So and even your craft, you can refine it even with more clarity. But if you're consistently smoking every day, you're not gonna get anything of it. Like I was saying, yes, MaryJane is like a reflectionary, yet at the same time reaffirmatory plant, right? So it has its purpose. It's just that we misuse it and abuse it.
Yeah, abusing is I guess that's what mainstream music and mainstream movies, you see characters abusing it, so people think, oh yeah, if he's doing it, I'm gonna do it, like, but really you shouldn't abuse it. It's just like alcohol, like
it's promoted for a reason, right? It's promoted because it relaxes you, it sedates you, it puts you in a very, if you're consistently just reflecting on things and re-examining things, and you're just reflecting, and you don't truly ever get anything done.
Mm. Is that you?
One second, one second.
Getting back to the topic of MaryJane, yeah, like it's promoted for a reason. And it's promoted mostly to the youth. It's not even promoted to the older generation.
Yeah.
It's really promoted for the youth because the sooner you can, the sooner they can get a smoking weed, the the higher the higher likelihood that our our brain doesn't develop in the way that it is supposed to the best of its potential had we not the intoxicant in our body. Plus, it sedates us. It kills our a lot of people's creativity and a lot of people's drive. Some people be like, oh, it can serve to make you creative and it can open up, the doors of perception. But at the same time, it sedates you. It sedates you and it kills your drive drastically. Weed kills your fucking drive. You do not have the same freaking drive. Even if you can get a lot of things done, like, even me when I was like, I would smoke 2, 3 blunts, hotboxing, and then get out of the car and go run 5 miles. Like, okay, like that's me because I've been cultivating discipline. So I'm like, I got a fight coming up. If I don't run these 5 miles, I'm gonna look like a bag of ass. I do not want to look again. I don't want to look like that again. That's embarrassing. So out of the fear for embarrassment, you go and do things. But a lot of people, it kills their drive, and it just keeps you dumbed down. It doesn't keep you. It keeps your head down, and then you discredit other plants that actually do help. Like try to give a chronic pot smoker some mushrooms, and he'll be like, "What the fuck, hell? I'm not doing that." And you're like, "Bro, you don't even know like weed is psychedelic, but you don't know it because you've been abusing it for so long." So
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, 100%, man. Like with my experience, like I had to stop in order for work. Only because of like the whole drug test, and just only because I had a good gig, I had a good like opportunity in that. So I had to stop, and the 3 months that I stopped, man, I felt amazing. I felt beautiful. But at the same time, I do respect it. Like when people abuse it, they don't see the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Like you said, like when you meditate, like you'll be meditating for ages. You know what I mean? Like, or when you're reading, like yesterday you were talking about what's that book called? As a Man Thinketh. Yeah.
James Allen.
Yeah, James Allen. And I was reading that book yesterday at the park. And after I finished the workout, I was under a tree reading that book. And then I turned on my phone, I see that you're on live. And then you mentioned that book, and I'm rereading it because I've read that book already, But I read it while I was, like smoking cannabis. So I'm like, man, I got to reread this. And I'm on like chapter 3 right now, but man, it hits different. You know what I mean? Like it resonates different, And that book is so good, eh? I'm on Think and Grow Rich as well. Chapter 7. Man, that's a beautiful book. Yeah. There's mine. Oh, my bag's over there.
I don't know if you read Simon Sinek.
Oh man, I got.
Simon Sinek, the author of this book, is called Leaders Eat Last.
Ah, yeah, Leaders Eat Last.
But he's got another one. It's called Start With Why, and that one is very powerful, man. Start With Why is a very powerful, positive book.
Is that by James Allen?
No, Leaders Eat Last is by Simon Sinek. That's another great author. I believe you should definitely check out Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek.
I'm reading. I actually just finished 2 books by him. I finished the Infinite Game, and another one is called Start With Why. So and that one I'm like halfway through this one, but this is I was able to finish it this year, doing the 10 pages per day. So like reading 10 to 20 pages per day of a select book. And you'd be surprised how many books you can get through doing that, daily.
Man, get this. Do you believe in synchronicity? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know why one of my primos is on the live. I don't know what he's talking about. Anyways, so yesterday I was at the park. I'm thinking, oh, man, like I'm gonna get this session in. This was after a course I was doing. I finished the course and I went straight to the park. Wanted to hit a little calisthenic workout, and I'm like, man, if only I had a blunt just like to smoke for my workout. Like it'll, I'll breeze through it. Like I won't even think about it. I'll just do. And then I'm like, nah, I can do this. So I'm walking to the park and take off my bag, and I'm like, all right, G'ing myself up, sucking myself up in my brain, and then this guy comes up to me. He goes, hey brother, how are you? I go, yeah, I'm pretty good, man. I'm pretty good. He goes, all right, man. You have a beautiful day. As he turns around, there's a big marijuana plant on his shoulder, and I'm in a different state right now. Right now, I'm in a different state. Wait, you have to disconnect your headset. Maybe let me disconnect my headset. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I see that plant. I'm in a different state right now. I had to fly to do a course. And so I got like no connectivity. I don't know anyone here. Anyways, this guy turns around and I see that big tattoo. I'm like, what? Like, fuck, this guy definitely, he just looked like a pot dealer. So I'm just like, fuck, this guy. If I ask this guy 110%, he'll probably give it to me. I was about to, and I'm like, nah, get this done. Turned around, it was like a temptation, you know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I was thinking about it, like replaying it. Oh, can I get it? And then the opportunity came. Like, within an hour, it came. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, I turned it down, and I trained. Man, it was...
We gotta learn to subconsciously say no. So that's like another thing that like I practice. Like, whenever I think about like looking at like that, this was a struggle the last few months, the last few weeks of 2022 was like big booty bitches on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? On Twitter and everywhere. So
I'm so over it.
So like I had to really take my own suggestions into consideration a little more seriously, because sometimes you'll create the excuses, but then I was like, no, fuck no, stop, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I do it a lot with even as I'm riding my bike, right, and I'm in the streets, and I'll think about like some freak accident. Like some car comes driving by, smacks me, I fucking fly, land on my head, I'm like, no. I'm like, go the fuck away. Like I'm consistently telling negative thoughts to get the fuck out of my head, to go away, like fears and everything. I'm just like, no, go the fuck away. Just like you want to embrace and attract positive thoughts, right, through affirmations and through visualization. Like affirmation and visualization are 2 ways for you to, create your reality before you even get. How do I put it? Like you manifest it, right? And so those things begin to happen more often. Those synchronistic states, those moments of like like order in all the disorder. You'll meet the right people at the right time. You know what I'm saying? At the right places. You know, you won't ever be at the wrong place at the wrong place at the right time. Because they ain't never wrong fucking time, right? You're just maybe we may put ourselves there because of like the habits and the actions that we're entertaining, but we're never at, you know, so everything is gonna happen for a reason. You know, it might be at our detriment because we've been fucking up. So, you know, we might die early or some fucked up shit might happen to us, but that's for the benefit of somebody else that's still doing the work, right?
Yeah.
They need the example, and we're gonna be the fucked up example. That you know,
Yeah.
somebody said, the Bible is a book of just like people's experiences. On one side, you got the people that did the right shit and they got the right result, even if they got put in jail. You know, like what's his name? One of the dudes in the Bible, he got put in jail. Next thing you know, years later, he's working for the king.
Peter? No. Who was it?
One of those people. You know, he put in jail a few years later. He's reading dreams for the king, and then now he's working for the.
What's his name? Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob.
So you know,
who ruled Egypt.
Yeah.
Was that the one? Yeah.
And then you know you have on the other side of the book you got story about shit you shouldn't be doing because you're gonna end up in the wrong place if you know what I'm saying, like the king of Egypt, right? So Pharaoh. So we all have, you know, we're all given this liberty of choice, and what we decide to do with that choice, it's on us, you know. Whenever I see a dead animal in the middle of the street and it hasn't been run over, like it's not all squashed up and shit.
Yeah.
It just got killed. I take it upon myself. I'm like, yo, let me go do this animal, let me go do this being a service, so that it's not just getting run over. People are like, oh, look at this fucking nasty thing. Like, no, because if I was dead, I would want somebody to put me somewhere where I'm not, you know, annoying people with you know. So, and when I do things like that, I like to believe that even though I like took the time to do this, maybe I also avoided some kind of bullshit in the future, that some kind of like, you know, crazy accident, because I just slowed down, like, you know, I just slowed down to do something right, as opposed to just speeding through life, right? Like a lot of people, they spend their whole life working, busy, and then they end up dying with stress-related illnesses that they could have avoided if they would have just simply paused, stayed at home for a fucking day or two. You know what I'm saying? Just rested, really, as opposed to just like feeling this innate desire to just be a slave, to just do what somebody else is telling them to do and not think for themselves.
No.
But yeah, synchronicity, it's like the law of attraction and all those other things, man. They work to our benefit if we're patient.
Yeah. Like
patient.
with the like with the position that I'm in, man, I visualized it. I wanted a specific number, and then this opportunity just came, and man, like it's all through thought. You know what I mean? Like it all starts with the thought, you know. So I just feel like I just show gratitude, man. What's your playlist on YouTube? Self-development. Your playlist on YouTube, self-development playlist. Yeah. I think it's on your playlist. I think. Yeah, the one that goes infinite intelligence. You seen that one? Infinite intelligence. It's on your YouTube. It's on your YouTube channel.
I got YouTube right here on my TV. You said infinite intelligence is on self-development. Yeah.
You see it?
Infinite intelligence. Yeah, by Neville Goddard. Yeah, I've listened to that a few times.
Man, man, that hits a spot. I was like I was driving one day, I was listening to it. I'm thinking like I feel like infinite intelligence has been hitting me my whole life, but I've been ignoring it. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I don't know. It just resonated with that talk so much.
There's this, like I said, look, when you, and I try teaching it to my nieces and nephews, like you got the two voices in there, right? You got the negative and the positive, the yes and the no.
The hell and the heaven.
The hell and the heaven, the truth and the lies. And if we close our eyes and we ask yes or no questions, you'll get an answer, right? Usually the loudest is the truest, but then you have the other one right afterwards. Like it's almost instantly. It's like it's yes, and then it's or it's like no, and then the other one is like. So often, what we want, right, our animal desire, our instinct, is to go with what is gratifying. You know, sometimes you might be like, yo, damn, should I go? Subconsciously, you know you got other things to do, and that right now is the best time to work out, to get your workout done right now. And you'll be like, should I work out now? I don't feel like working out. But if you were to ask, should I work out now? You would get the instant answer of what to do.
Yeah.
And most of the time, like if it makes more sense to do it now, your subconscious is going to tell you, yeah, get it done now. And I usually do it in the morning, like getting out of bed. Like I do it all the time. Now I'm always asking questions, like in my head. Like doing this at night, this was a question. I'm like, yeah. Talk to that chick. Nah, fuck that. Yeah, go say something. Just whatever comes out, let it out. Okay. And I'll even rate people and myself like that. Like I'll close my eyes and I'll be like one thing I ask myself sometimes, like how often do I follow what infinite intelligence wants of me as opposed to what I do? Like how often do I do my will or God's will?
Because that's what it is.
Your will is the devil.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I see it, right? Like your little old human will, that's the devil doing whatever the fuck it wants, thinking that it is above everybody and everything else in society and life, and that it doesn't have to answer to nobody. You can just do whatever the fuck you want, whatever you feel like. And I see that as the devil, right? Like Jesus said, the temple of God is the body of man. I like to say that this is also the prison of the devil.
So we are not of this world, you know. We are not of this world, you know, like
the consciousness, you know, the that divine essence, right? So we can be. The will is a terrible master, but a great servant. Terrible master, good servant. The same thing is with the ego. The ego can be your most trusted advisor, or the worst thing that you can listen to if you don't know what to follow, if you don't have no wisdom to guide you. So you got to be the governor of the ego and the master of your will, so that you can truly serve the divine, not doing thy will, but doing the will of the Most High. Because thy will is always self-gratifying.
No.
It's only seeking immediate gratification, whereas the will of the divine is seeking the gratification of the whole. And if the whole gains, you gain.
Yeah.
Because if you help enough, as Jim Rohn said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want in the process. Help enough people become rich, and you'll become rich also. It's like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right? Steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
So as you help other people get better, you'll also get better in the process.
wisdom is the only thing that, you know, the more you share of it, the more you grow in abundance of it. The same thing is with money well invested. It's never wasted. Even if you lose it, it's a lesson learned.
Yeah, it's a lesson learned. That's right.
So, you know,
Right.
closing the eyes, asking questions, being like, no. You know what I'm saying? Just subconsciously and consciously saying no, it will change a lot of different things. This is something that I like. I don't know if it was under a psychedelic experience or whatever, or just one day like thinking, and it was like, oh shit, you know, like we control what goes on in our minds. Like
Yeah.
we you know, we can allow what thoughts we consistently obsess over. You know, like growing up and when we're very undisciplined, we'll look at a chick and we'll lust for minutes to hours over the same chick, and just like we could go through every freaking scenario in the Kama Sutra,
Mm.
and then wonder why we feel so obsessed. But it's like, you know, it's just we're giving our energy to thoughts that don't really cultivate. You know,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, man.
Into the last topic, which was like, yo, should we make women wait? rather than always going into the relationship like a dog looking for a bone.
Man, I feel like, I don't know. What's your perspective on that?
I think we should. We would give ourselves so much more power.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when you practice semen retention in itself, that right there, no woman can have power over you because no woman can make you come.
Mm.
If no woman can make you come, that automatically takes their power. A lot of women feel it. A lot of women subconsciously, they feel like they have the power because they can make you come.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And they actually, and we actually do lose power the more we come.
The drive.
I think that not only do we lose love for those women, but we also become more lustful for them. And we feel insatisfied because every time we ejaculate, you know, that reduces our self-confidence, that reduces our optimistic view. You know, we become very like,
I'm gonna take a nap.
like, you know, or leave me alone. Like I want to go shower. Like, you know, like a lot. Like you might find a chick extremely attractive, and sometimes as soon as you bust, you're like, all right, like get away from me, type. Ooh, don't touch me. You know.
Yeah.
So. And that's because like we're letting out all our creative power, all our, you know, like our will, our self-control, our confidence, knowledge goes down the drain.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what I heard. It's spinal fluid. It's brain fluid.
Yeah,
Like,
it's brain fluid.
It's brain fluid. So like another thing that like really clicked to me. Do you know that episode? Like I don't watch Simpsons. I haven't seen Simpsons since I was a kid. But like there's this one episode that really like resonated with me when Homer was practicing semen retention. Have you seen that episode?
Which one is this?
The Simpsons.
Nah.
Well, it's an old episode, but it came to me when they were bringing up.
I've seen like little clips of cartoons that, you know, they touch upon that. You know, how about what was it? I don't know if it's the one that you're talking about. I saw a clip, and it was like, yeah, once you're so, yeah. Oh, you said Homer.
Yeah, Homer. Yeah.
There's a clip about that. He instantly got more productive, more creative, more disciplined.
Was reading, went to university, was working, was training, like, you know, like it was crazy. And I just feel like that you know, they drop little gems here and there, you know, that subliminals. That's pretty much what it is, you know.
They drop the subliminals, and it's like not many people will pick it up because it's a cartoon. But that's exactly how it is. Like, you know, I'm reading this book. It's called Samadhi, and it deals with, like, you know, the chakras, consciousness, the all that Middle Eastern philosophy mixed with kind of like a Western understanding. And it's like, you know, your solar, your root, the root chakra deals with survival, right? And it's like, you know, if you're not diligent, most of the time you're going to be slothful. So your energy is not going to be invested properly. But if you are diligent, you will give rise. You will begin to move that kundalini energy that sits at the base of the spine in a positive manner, because you are actually moving with a purpose. You know, when you're slothful, you're not moving with a purpose. But when you become diligent, you begin to move with a purpose. And as it goes into the sexual organs, you know, which is the second chakra, the sacral chakra, that deals with sexuality, and is governed by the planet Mercury. Was it Mercury? Mercury is considered like the messenger of the gods. And when we nut, when we ejaculate, that's the seed of life. And we plant that seed in the soil, which is the womb of woman. But that seed can also be seen as a message, right? And that message becomes the flesh. So in one book that I read, it was called A Perfect Matrimony. That was the first book that I ever read on semen retention.
I bought that book. I haven't started it yet. Yeah, you recommended that to me. Yeah, it came in. What happened?
So that was the first book that I ever read on semen retention. And in that book, that's what they called it. They called semen retention is like holding the cup of Hermes. And Hermes is the messenger of the gods, right? And when you spill that cup, it's like you're dumping away your life force, right? In Chinese philosophy, in this book written by this Asian dude that you know gives sexual exercises that us men can do, to cultivate the masculine sexual energy.
Something like that. Yeah.
Manta Chia. So Manta, in his book, Cultivation of the Masculine, you know, he talks about, you know, every time a man ejaculates, that's in Chinese philosophy is called a little death, right? So we basically die a little bit every time we ejaculate.
Wow.
Now, it takes what 60 to 70 days for sperm to mature, sperm cells to mature, right? It takes 60 to 70 days for that to come to full maturity. Most of the time, a lot of the dudes, they're just consistently ejaculating every freaking day, right? And you can just look like the individual with the longest lifespan is usually males. In the society that we live in today, is not males, it's females. Because a lot of us were just committing suicide. You know, we're doing just crazy things. Why? Because we don't know how to actually apply ourselves in a purposeful manner. What causes us to not understand how to apply ourselves in a purposeful manner? The fact that we release what we're supposed to be protecting, which is our life force. And we release it for purposeless reasons, for meaningless, you know, pleasure, immediate gratification reasons. And so, like, that's it, you know. If we learn how to not be nutting all over the place, how to become masterful of our will, and become a little more disciplined and move with more diligence and do the right things, especially when nobody's watching, things will become easier for us in life. I've been living in this apartment for like the last 300 and something days by myself, you know. I've had children, you know, come in here and live with me for, you know, a few days, for with my little niece for a week, right? Multiple times. An undisciplined man is not capable of being around children. the perversity that goes on in our mind, if it's not put in check, is very destructive.
Mm.
So that's why, like, mastery of our motor animal instinct, our lower level, our root chakra and our sacral chakra, you know, the survival in the sexual is essential for us as men. If we want to ever, like, grow into something that is a fucking good fucking value.
Mm.
These are just things that I've learned by, like, you know, reading these multiple philosophies and, you know, getting the perspective of it and then putting my own spin into it.
Yeah.
Like, if you live alone as a man, this is your best time to, you know, work on your sexual energy, work on your visions, on you know, writing goals down. Fucking, I got like 17, almost 20 journals that I've written since I started journaling.
Yeah, I was just writing. I was just previously writing.
That's what I'm talking about, right? So it's just the little things, like, out of 1,000, out of 100, maybe 1 or 2, right, will go out and actually be capable of applying their will in a proper manner and to consistently do it without losing, not momentum, because we're not always going to be able to stay at the same pace, but without losing hope.
Yeah.
Without losing hope, because it's easy to lose hope when you see everything else, when you don't see things going your way.
Yeah, facts.
When you see your what you try to fix, it just breaks, you know? Like, you try to build a business, it fails. A lot of people, they never try again after that first failure. And that's what's going to determine, you know, those that end up becoming something from those that don't. And it's our ability to persevere, to be persistent, to be patient, to have insight and foresight, to seek out the proper information that influences, that inspires us. Like, you know, like, as you're doing, reading, listening to people that know more than you or that are where you want to be. Because that's what I've been doing, and that's what I still fucking do every fucking day. You know, I'm always listening to my guy Jim Rohn. Why? Because I like to talk.
Yeah, Jim Rohn is good.
And I feel, believe, and think that I have a message that needs to be heard. So I listen to individuals that speak in a manner that I idolize, that I look up to, that I admire, and that also speak things that make sense. I don't just want to listen to somebody that speaks pretty. I want to listen to somebody that has some kind of content and whose character is a reflection of it. Like, I like listening to E.T., but E.T. doesn't like working out. You know? So I can only listen to E.T. for so long.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe in fitness. He believes in waking up early, but not in fitness.
Yeah.
But I fucks with David Goggin heavy.
Yeah.
And it's all about the fitness, and he's all about talk. You know, he's walking the talk. Like, not to take away from Eric Thomas. You know, he's making his money. He's waking up at 4 a.m. every day, as he says. You know what I'm saying? He's out there motivating and inspiring. But I believe in the body, the mind, and the soul. Not just the mind.
Yeah, I feel you. That's what I'm working on right now, you know? The mind.
We're working on all of them. It's just not losing, you know, just not getting sucked into things that we can't control. Just always doing what we can with what we have, right? And you know, being patient, right? We have to be, especially, you know, we have to learn to be patient, because if we want women, you know what I'm saying? We don't need them unless we want to you know, plant our seed and have children, we want them. But we don't need them unless we want to have children. Right? If we want to have children, then we do need our women. Right? That's how we grab what they create, the people that they create, and we make societies with the people that they create. Right? Because they create people, we make societies. That's our purpose as a man. It's to mold reality to whatever we need it to, so that we can achieve whatever we want to achieve in life. And so, you know, if we want to attract some good women, we better be able to have some patience with ourselves. We got to be able to have some self-respect, a lot of self-love, right? So that we know how to give our women love, so we know how to demand respect from them in a manner that doesn't, you know, make them feel less than, but actually puts them in their place. And we have to have something to give, to inform, to coach them on. And you know, as it relates to making them wait, yo, if it's a chick that you think, you know, you make them wait. If it's just something that like, get it over with, get it over with and send her on her way.
Nah.
But if you think that there's value there, I mean, the more you make her wait, the better it is for you. Because what I've learned is that the less anxious that you are to get something done, the longer you'll last. The higher the possibility that you'll be able to, you know, carry on with the retention throughout the whole process, throughout the whole intercourse. I went like 2 days. I spent 3 days with a I can't say young, but she was 40 in Colombia. She looked good, but she was my senior. But I spent 3 days with this woman, and the last 2 days I didn't, and I left there never like I ejaculated the first time, but it was on purpose. But after that, I didn't allow myself anymore. And that was just 2 days. Had I been there longer, I would have went longer without it.
Nah.
Without ejaculating. But for hours. Like, that's the beauty of us, man. Like, we can go for hours. That's why I say, like, yo, one woman is not enough. Because if I wake up at 2 in the morning, and I got a woman next to me, and I'm horny, I'm not picking you up. I'm not going to be like, yo, babe, no. You better know what's about to go down. You laid in my bed, like, laid in my bed, right? So it's gonna go down at 1 in the morning, at 3 in the morning, at 6 in the morning, at whatever time I wake up and I want it, I'ma have it. Oh, you not ready for that much? Every day? No. You better go find me another one, or I'm gonna go find one. Or you're gonna have to move out of the way, so that I can have the clarity to find more. Yeah, we're talking about that aspect, Dolby. For me personally, you know, because right now I'm like, I don't even want to have like no more just casual. If it comes along, I'm not gonna like reject it. You see, I keep closing my eyes for a second as I make some of these statements. I'm not gonna reject it if it comes along, but me seeking out casual.
Nah, of course.
I've been working on this whole thing like for the last 5 years. Like right now, I'm more focused on the financial. Because now I've already had, even though I don't have like I haven't been with a shit ton of women like a lot of men. I have had enough experiences to where I know how to please a woman, and I don't have to try to do everything I see in porno. that's the thing. That's what fucks up a lot of us guys. Like we try to do so much and we end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us do. We don't know how to just sit the fuck down and be like, ride me. Right? No, I said ride me. You were stomach looking a little pudgy. You need to start riding me. Start doing some squats. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? We gotta learn that. Like we spend so much time trying to like show her what the dick do. We don't even let her see what the dick do because like a few strokes and we're like, like nah, bro, chill the fuck out. Lay down, sit up, let her get on top of you. Reverse cowgirl, missionary, make her move. Like I with this, and you know, and that's why I've learned that a lot of dudes like they never really get what they want out of women. Even if they have multiple women, like a lot of these dudes, they never get what they want out of women because they don't know how to just like, bro, like you're the man, bro. She already spread herself open to you, bro. That treasure house is yours. If you're not able to pick out what you want out of that treasure chest, that's on you. Because you get so focused on one little thing, on doing something how you saw it in this one video, and now like you're not even pleasing her right. Like yo, we can work a lot of things through like sexual alchemy, bro. Like I'm not even thinking about making her come. I'm thinking about yachts and mansions and real estates in Africa and the Caribbean
and that can all come through sexual
sexual alchemy.
It's through sexual energy, right?
Yeah, you're alchemically, you know, transmuting all that sexual energy from yourself and through that woman, and you're turning it into something positive. The like with this woman, right? Before when I first met her, you know, I went down there for a trip, but she was telling me about, you know, traumas and things like that she had from like a previous relationship. So in the back of my mind, I'm also healing those things. Like as I'm inside of her, I'm in a state of gratitude. I'm not trying to take nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying it. I'm appreciating her, and at the same time, I'm also seeking to remove whatever is in there,
like trauma,
like traumas and things of that nature, by the way that I express my love, right? And that's why it is essential for a man to love himself so that he can be able to give love without necessarily even being in love. You gotta be in love with yourself. Like once you're in love with yourself, you know, you make love to everything, to everyone. And it's not always sexual. That's the beauty about us men when we learn to transmute that sexual energy, you know what I'm saying? We turn that sexual energy into positive. Every interaction that we have with women, with young and old, with children and the elderly, it becomes more of you're creating a positive experience as opposed to just something that you gotta like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is this old lady talking to me? Like, nah, bro, like that's God right there.
Yeah.
Like God got something to say. Like, listen, you don't know. Why are you such in a rush? For what? For nothing. At the end of the day, you're gonna die. But we're so often like rushing through life that we don't even take the time to truly appreciate what life has to offer. Like God is always trying to talk to us, but we're never ready to listen. Because we think what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we want to do is more important than what life that divine intelligence needs us to receive. You know, and through sex, as it relates with women, we can remedy a lot of things. Like, that's how I see it. You know, I truly believe that we can remedy. Like, you know, there's a saying, like, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. I'm not gonna try, but it is possible. You just gotta know what the fuck you're doing. You gotta really know what the fuck you're doing. If a woman has been with 10, 20 fucking sexual partners, you better be ready to tackle all those demons that are inside of that vagina. There's a lot of sexual trauma, a lot of emotional and spiritual trauma. You know, a lot of dudes have been using her vagina as a sack to jerk off in.
Yeah.
Honest, bro. Like, yo, when I first had my first psychedelic experience, I was living with a female. And you know, like, that's why I realized, like, yo, I'm not asking a chick to have sex with her if she's sleeping with me. I'm waking her up with a dick. That's why I tell dudes, like, bro, if you got a female, you better be waking her up with dick. You don't want to wake up to no arguments. Wake her up the proper way so she don't got nothing to fucking argue about. Wake her up feeling good, right? So I learned, though I did these things, I was also very closed off, right? Like, I was the kind of dude that would give the cold shoulder, right? Rather than expressing himself. This is before, like, you know, my throat chakra opened up and I started opening my mouth on how I truly felt about things and what I truly thought and believed, right? So whenever something happened, I would give the cold shoulder. I would just ignore it, right? But as soon as I would wake up in the morning, boom, dick, then go about my business. Something happened, you're not getting no dick at night. You'll get it in the morning, right? So that kind of like started building up this like this energy, very negative energy, because I after the psychedelic experience, what I learned is that I was taking more than I was giving, and I saw the consequence of my actions. So, like, literally, within 2 months, I stopped having sex with her. But because I lacked the capacity to communicate, I didn't tell her what I was doing. I didn't express nothing. I just stopped. So to her, she felt like she was ugly, like I didn't want her, like, you know what I'm saying? She didn't understand that I stopped for her health, for her well-being, and so that I can help work on myself. She just saw that I just stopped. And, you know, but that's something that I did, right? So that I can work on my own traumas, and rather than just using her as like something to dump my insecurities and my lust into, I went within myself and took that away. And a lot of dudes, that's what they're doing. They're using, you know, a lot of women to just jerk off in there. They use their vagina as a jerk off tool. They dump all the insecurities, all the traumas, all the lust, all the demonic fucking intentions and desires that we carry within, because the women are like a you know, like they're like a vessel. You know, they just hold, you just keep pouring things in there. And a lot of them don't know how to dump it out. They think they know, but they don't fucking know.
Facts. Yeah, man. Wow. Never thought about it like that, you know?
So through sexual alchemy, you can work a lot of things. You know, it doesn't mean that you're not ever gonna smack an ass, like, you know what I'm saying, choke her, like, shit's still possible. You know, different women and different circumstances are gonna demand a different version of you for each woman. Like, not every woman is gonna like be pleased. It's gonna be similar, but not the same way, because they all got their different kinks. They all got their different kinks, so each one is gonna demand a different animal out of you. You know, some might want more tenderness. Some might demand a more rough, more savage you know what I'm saying, beast.
Mm.
So, but the more love we got for ourselves, the more we work on that sexual energy, the better able we'll be, the better prepared we'll be for when that beast inside of her comes out and she just wants to like bite you and scratch you and everything. You're kind of like, do what you gotta do. And then at the same time, you can grab her by her neck and put her in her place, and at the same time, show her that you're the man.
Mm.
But you gotta. Some of them is
Yeah.
wait, bro. Some of them they're so entitled, so egotistical, so narcissistic that, but they like you. That the best thing that you can do for them is to just like, I'm not gonna fuck you yet. I might eat you out. I might play with your tits. I might kiss you. I might bite you in the neck. I might pull your hair. I might smack you. I might choke you sometime. I'm not gonna dive inside of you just yet. Nah. I'm gonna make you wait. Get all those crazy energies if you have any crazy energy. Get them all out.
So every day you got a new topic?
I don't know, man. Sometimes I just wing it. It was just like last night, as I was gonna take it down, I started thinking about it. I was like, you know, I talked with the young man from Canada, and we talked about. He mentioned discipline, but I didn't elaborate on the cultivation of discipline. We talked about weed, but I didn't talk about like why, about burning time. And then I started thinking about. I had this. I was like, yo, should we make women wait? Because they try to make us wait. They try to make it seem like if you're not a virgin, you shouldn't be trying. You shouldn't be trying to like manipulate any man into anything.
Yeah.
You know, I've been with a virgin. I would, you know, I like I'm at the point where I wouldn't mind wait. Like I've been thinking of taking another year. That's why I said this about waiting. Because I've actually been considering like, yo, should I like almighty, so I just take another year, like not even seeking anything. Wait till 33. If something comes, it comes, but might even reject it. Because I'm really focused on this vision. I've told myself, yo, if I gotta go 5 or 10 years without a vagina, I'll do it. If that means becoming who I want to become, at the end of the day, once I achieve that, I can have as many as I want anyways. I have the capacity to get them from wherever I want. That's the beauty of us, men. We can have as many and from wherever. You know, not that we should go crazy with it. You should have a sense of discipline and a purpose. Reasons as to why you're doing the things that you're doing. But a lot of people aren't willing to wait. They're not willing to wait for anything. They want, you know, the society that we live in is a society of immediate gratification. Have it your way. You know what I'm saying? 30 minutes or less. Everything is there. Not a lot of people know how to wait. But if you learn how to like be patient, then there's nothing stopping you from achieving whatever it is that you want to achieve. And from creating a timeline that allows you to actually accomplish what you want to accomplish long after your passing. Because you planted the seeds, you tilled the soil, you planted the seed, and you watered them enough to where now nature takes its course and it just continues to grow, right? We still talk about Jesus today. This dude lived 2,000 years ago. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. If we live a good life, we'll live for eternity and time. There's nothing stopping us, only ourselves. Buddha, we still talk about him today. Lao Tzu, Miyamoto Musashi. These individuals probably didn't cultivate the Christ, but you know they did something that allowed them to remain intertwined in time, and we can do it. All of us, motherfuckers, gonna be talking about David Goggins for years.
Yeah.
Brothers got to fucking go through all fucking military branches. Toughest guy in America. Ooh, bro, toughest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's a beast, eh?
Right? It's you know we have been given the liberty of choice, and we can choose to do what we will with the time given to us, the time allotted to us.
Yeah. Facts.
You know, all we can do is always give all glory and grace to the Most High.
Yeah, that's true, man.
You can't go wrong with that. Like man was made to worship. Right? It's just a lot of people, they're worshiping the wrong things.
Yeah.
They're worshiping external idols rather than the internal source of all. Like we were designed by our Creator to worship. We have been given the liberty of choice of what to worship. You can worship women, you can worship material things, or you can worship the Most High and appreciate the other things.
That's true, bro. That's true, man. Gratitude.
Yeah, but yeah, bro, that's I don't know.
That was a good.
Unless you got something else, let me know, man. About to be in Florida tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll think of something. Or maybe I'll jump on tomorrow and see what's up.
All right, brother.
My man.
What's your name?
Pardon?
What's your name again?
Chris, bro. Chris.
Because I see you as a boy, so I'm like.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy? Raw boy? Yeah. Chris.
What is it? Is it Raw Boy or is it different?
It's yeah, no, that's right. It's Raw boy.
Oh, okay.
That's the IG name. Yeah.
All right, Chris, bro. Great talking, my brother.
Joanne. Have a beautiful evening, man, and yeah, man. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. My man.
All right.
Thank you for the talk. Take care.
You as well.
Yeah, bye.
There you go, family. It's a great day. It's a great evening. It's the 15th. We're about to call this. We're about to close this evening, man. All grace and glory be to the Most High, and much appreciation be to you all that came through this session this evening and, you know, gain some jewels. I hope that you gain some value out of it and that you continue to have a great 2022 and an even more amazing rest of this decade. All right? Much love, appreciation for you all. May y'all continue to grow in abundance of body, mind, and soul. More love.